On today's show,
Lego Star Wars May the 4th sets leaked. Let's react to them.
potential Vader horror film in the works?
And Daredevil Born Again's penultimate episode. Was it the best episode yet?
All that and more on BCFM.
Welcome back to BCFM, the Beyond Coruscant podcast. Thank you for joining us this week. You are live with Cooper and Jack, and we're going to kick things off with some Lego Star Wars news, believe it or not.
Mm,
There's coming up on May the 4th, they always do a big promotion for Star Wars, the Lego company, and
hmm
there's some good sets released in this one.
I'm
Now, I
excited.
know what they are, Jack does not, so I'm going to share them with Jack, and if you guys at home don't know, we'll share it with you as well.
hmm
So I'm going to pop up this little screen here and we're going to go through it. Can you see?
Yes, I can.
Okay, all right. So this is set number one.
Mm.
So this is the gift with purchase set. So it's not actually going to be released to the public, I guess. You have to spend a minimum amount of money at Lego to be able to get this. But this set
Mm.
has got the attention of a lot of people because of that little droid in the top right
Yep.
corner. Can't quite
Yep.
remember what it's called. They've released one of them before, and that was it. So this is the second time we're seeing this in Lego form. It looks
Mm.
quite big now that I see it.
I mean, the droid is good, and the clone cadets are definitely I think, a main purchase for
Oh,
people because of,
absolutely.
having them in a collection with then having the clone troopers after it would be so
Hmm.
cool.
Yep.
But I don't, what is like, I know it's like a mini gifting, and I know it's not meant to be much, and I know it's 190 pieces, but that droid thing that's shooting the lasers, that just doesn't like, that just looks like something I could have built with like my leftover like Lego bricks. I don't know if that's even like worth almost having. It should have just been almost like, if you're gonna do the training facility, just have like an armory almost like
Yeah.
with a cool develop that armory thing there as a little bit more of a bigger thing rather than this shooting droid thing. Like, who wants that for? Like, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna use that.
No, I know it's and I don't even know how you would display that.
Yeah.
Like it looks just such an awkward thing to display.
Mm.
I'm trying to find some facts on it. It doesn't quite look like the Camino training droid, but it could be. I know it's got a technical name. It showed up in Attack of the Clones
Mm.
uh, back in 2002, but I don't remember what it's called. But I know it's a big deal for some people, so you know what? And the Clone Cadets, they're good minifigures, so
Well, what
that's
what is
exciting.
well, yeah. Well, the other question for this is what makes them think to go this route? Are we potentially like? Obviously, you've seen the other sets that are now coming up after this.
Hmm.
Is it going to be more of a prequels sets coming back because of, obviously Revenge of the Sith?
Yep,
How many years is it?
that's 20 years Revenge of the
Yeah.
Sith.
So maybe that, and then I know with I won't get into it, and we won't get into it in today's one. But obviously potential leaks and stuff with Ahsoka season 2 with Anakin and a bit more of the Mortis arc and everything. Maybe we might be getting more Clone Wars Lego sets
Yeah.
being released because I don't think we really got much in entirely. It was mainly the movie of Attack of the Clones we got Lego
Yes,
sets for, not really the Clone Wars. So
that is true.
it'll
That
be
is true.
interesting.
I think that. Oh, hang on. I think that. Yeah, you will notice that there are a couple of Revenge of the Sith themed
Mm.
Lego sets
Ooh,
in this release window, which is exciting.
that'd be good.
Um, but yeah, so this is the first one, the Camino Training
Mm.
Facility gift with purchase. So you're gonna have to buy probably the
Certain,
more
yeah.
expensive set that's gonna be shown at the very end. But let's move on to number two, which is set
Mm.
number 75399
Whew.
Rebel U-Wing Starfighter. This is an Andor Season 2 set. I
Mm.
did include it because I don't technically think it's a spoiler
There's
because
a K2. Yeah.
it's got K2 and it's also got Dedra Miro
Mm.
against and with Cassian as well. So does that maybe foreshadow that they are going to meet? Maybe, but at the end of the day, it's not like we haven't seen this starfighter before. We've seen the U-Wing. It's a great ship. It's an
Mm.
awesome ship, actually. It's really cool. I just hope the wings kind of flat back
That's what I was
and it's not
thinking.
set like this because I think
Yes.
that would be a shame.
Well, yeah, I think the bottom of it looks quite plain. I think it looks
Mhm.
not very intricate that
Yep.
much. The boosters, and if the wings do kind of fold back a bit, it looks like there is a bit of in like within the set,
Interior.
some compartments, which maybe might be a bit more of a playability feature rather than more of a just a regular display.
Yep.
Um, the minifigures in this, like K2SO is a cool draw and all, but I don't really think I see myself going, yeah, I really need this set for K2SO
Yeah.
because he kind of looks like just like his figure here and his shape almost looks like just a B1 battle droid, just
Yep.
with different coloring.
Yep.
And I really couldn't care less about Dedramiro as a minifigure, but I do like the ISB kind of design on them. Yeah, quite literally. Look, his chest is a bit
Looks like
more
this. Yeah.
developed. An Andor Lego figure. Okay, as much as we love Andor, I don't know if you will agree with me on this. He is just such a plain
Yeah.
minifigure character. Like, I'm
He
not
is.
gonna like hunt myself. Like, I'm not gonna like hunt for this set to get him,
Yep.
as opposed to like Captain Rex minifigure or someone else a bit more that has more on him as a minifigure.
I
Because actually,
agree.
I do think the ISB minifigures here are actually a bit more to them, and it looks actually quite cool to have. Not that I would go for it because of Dead Ramiro from the show, just because of how
Yeah.
they look. So minifigures, the ship. I don't know. I'll need to see more of it because I think it looks quite cool with the back of it, like and the
Mhm.
inside compartments. But knowing Lego nowadays, it's probably going to be a very expensive set. It's probably for like
It'd be like
Australian
$80
dollars,
bucks.
$80.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if that's worth it, man. Like
No.
this is my only, and I don't know. We could probably talk about this after it, but yeah, it's just Lego prices nowadays almost put me off more collecting of it because of just how absurdly
Expensive it
like
is.
expensive it is just for
Yeah.
like a mini thing. Yeah,
Yep.
it's. Mm,
Yeah, I agree. I agree completely. You see some prices of some of the Lego sets, just insane. I just want to draw your attention quickly back to the ISB figures and
mm,
particularly Dedra Miro because I believe we've got some very good leg printing. The
mm.
front is definitely printed very well,
Yep.
and I believe the side as well. I believe the side of the legs are printed, which is
Mm-hmm.
always good and exciting, and
Mm-hmm.
that's not something you necessarily see in sets like this. So
Yep.
that's
Color
cool.
shading. Mm-hmm.
Yep, color shading. All right.
Yeah.
Next set. You'll like this one.
Oh. Oh.
75415, Kylo Ren's helmet. This is
Damn.
the one that I was genuinely most excited to see
Yeah.
because Kylo Ren, like we have some Lego helmets in our collections.
Yeah.
This one would just fit right in and it looks
Oh yeah.
gorgeous. Looks
I
gorgeous.
I was gonna say, yeah, I was a bit worried actually when it first popped up. I'm like, oh, how's this gonna look? But no, that's really good because I thought it like I was hoping it wouldn't be like the Stormtrooper ones where it's like quite wider.
Yeah.
Because I don't like when they portray Kylo Ren's mask in like promotional things or artwork or something where it's wider at like the thing. No, it's
Yeah.
meant to be a bit more narrow. It's meant to
Yeah.
fit to his head, and I really like that. I mean, I can't see the back of it, but it does look like this one might be a bit easier to build compared to the others.
hmm
But also, I'm going to ask you this question here: are those stickers for his mask printing?
Oh, I reckon they'll be printed pieces.
Oh,
No
I
way.
hope
They're
I
detailed stickers.
Oh man, if they are not, if they are stickers,
Stickers.
I'm cooked. Like, call it game over. It's not Kylo Ren. It's Kylo Ben.
Oh my God.
Because I will be absolutely fried if I have to. That better be printed pieces because yeah, I'm gonna be struggling with that. But yeah,
Yeah.
that looks so
I
cool. Yeah,
think
it's definitely a pick
in
up.
realistically, I think that probably the really almost leopard print
Mm,
looking bits will be printed pieces, and then maybe
yeah,
probably the,
the
the
top.
silver lines and the sides around it will be stickers.
Oh no, this could
Yeah.
be. See, okay, and this is okay. This is my critique of now the Lego helmets with the sticker rings, because for helmets, they are specifically their intent is to be display items, right?
Yeah.
Why would you rely on people's shaky hands and not best eye line of sight to almost portray the main thing that defines that helmet?
Yep.
Like, I
I
think
agree.
that is just almost like you're basically setting yourself up for failure and like a bit more of fear going into it because then when you display it, if you're off a bit crooked on one of the things, you're just going to go for the rest of the time.
Yep.
No, you
Yep. And
know,
you can't change it.
yeah. And like you can, I think when you first put it down, you can do it again quickly.
Yep.
But after a couple times, man,
You're
that's
cooked.
cemented. Yeah, that's
Yeah. Yeah.
cemented. So, oh, I'm
And
a bit scared.
another thing about this set is it's probably going to be another $90, at least Australian
90.
dollar, $90
Mhm.
set for 529 pieces, which is
Yep.
nuts. At least with the ones that you and I have, because we did
Mm.
a joint build video on that.
Yep,
Go watch that if you
it's a
haven't.
great
I'll put it
video.
in the description
Mm.
and we'll put it as a card as well if you want
Mm.
to have a look at
Mm.
that. They were at least 600 plus pieces. I think
Hmm.
the Commander Cody one was 600 and something
Yeah,
pieces. Rex was more
I
700
think
pieces, I
yeah, I
think.
think it was a bit bigger with the.
It
Mm.
was quite thick.
Mm.
But but yeah, 529, it looks a bit thinner, bit
Yeah,
more
like
less cheeks. So
it just it does confuse me because as much as I was just saying for the previous set, why are they so much? At least that one does have more playability and open, like you can do
yeah.
stuff with it. These ones here, I know they're called display ones, so that immediately boosts the price for Lego. They're like, oh, they're going to be on people's shelves. Let's make the price point high. But
Yeah.
it should be almost the opposite. You want like maybe have less stock, do a thing where it's like less stock but a bit cheaper. You get
Mhm.
in first, you get a display item because they're not something you can really like do anything with once they're built.
True.
And I love them. Don't get me wrong. Like, but that's also my critique about the I don't know what they call them. You have a couple. The scene, the Legos
Dioramas.
dioramas. Once again, I would get so many of them if they were a bit cheaper, but it's just
Too
like
expensive.
they're too expensive. But then at the same time, they're a bit more than the helmets. But that also makes sense in terms of because they actually have a bit more set like scenes within them and like almost in motion things. When this one's just but like I understand when things being more expensive than others for Lego, but I feel like generally speaking, everything should just be slightly lower because in the
Oh
end,
yeah.
it is a kid's toy, and in the end, you want it to be accessible for at least a lot of people around the world.
Mhm.
And within today's day and age, I just feel like it's a bit silly to almost keep increasing the prices for new Lego sets.
I think everyone in the entire world would agree with you.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah. I understand it's expensive to obviously commission and, get the Lego pieces and everything, but
Yeah.
I'm sure they would still make profit.
They make bank on these
Reducing it.
sets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
reducing it at least by $20 would just be so much more affordable and
Yeah.
more enticing for people, I think. Yeah.
I agree. All right. Kind of in relation to this set
Ooh,
and moving on to the next one, we've got
interesting.
another in the range of the mini Starship collection, Kylo Ren's command shuttle. 75406. Now, Jack, I know you have the full size version of this set.
Yeah.
I'm very jealous you have the full size version of this
Yeah.
set, but this one just looks gorgeous.
This one, I was about to say that. I was going to say, I don't really like collecting these mini ones. I do have the full one, like Cooper said, but I am looking at this. I think I would have to cop it. I can see this just sitting on my desk, like next to my gaming setup. It just looks so clean,
It's
but also
beautiful.
it's small, but it looks big. And
Well,
that's what I
it's
like.
the wings. It's the
Yeah,
wings.
like the wings. It just looks, but that's the thing. Like it's a miniature, but it looks like it's generally like a nice thing to have. Like I
Yeah.
feel like with some of the other mini ones, they're like almost too micro. That I'm like, meh.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, this looks sick. This looks
Yeah,
amazing.
I agree.
Mm,
And
yep.
on the side of the box, you can see the wings are folded up. So you can certainly play with the wings, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Which makes it the only thing is displaying it on a shelf might be a little bit tricky,
Oh yes, because
just
of
because of
yeah,
how tall the wings are. But
and the
I
base
don't know.
even
And
the
the base,
base at
yeah,
the bottom. Yeah,
yeah,
quite wide. But also, we like to mention 386
86,
pieces.
not much. And it'll
And
be
we've got
probably
them.
70, $80.
It'd probably be around, yeah, I reckon 70. Yeah.
Get
So
this when it's on sale. Don't spend all your money on
when
this one
it's
straight
like
away.
50 bucks,
Yeah,
I sold 50. I'd
yeah,
probably consider it to be worth it.
I
Yep,
agree. I agree.
for sure, for sure.
All right. I can't quite remember what the next one on the slide was, so we're gonna find out together. Oh yeah, this one.
Oh
Revenge of the Sith,
my
Heroes and Villains,
lord.
Brickheads.
That is gonna haunt me for life.
40796. Now, this is probably the set I will be most likely to get
That is
because
crazy.
there are some awesome characters in this one. General Grievous, Mace
He's
Windu,
scary.
Anakin, Palpatine, and Padme. Yeah,
Bro,
The Grievous looks a bit funny.
he's just haunting my dreams right now.
What do
But
you mean? They
hold
look good.
no 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 no. The Grievous eyes and like
Ah,
it's like uncanny valley for him almost because he's such
true.
like a skinny droid. And now he's just like a swallow. Like Grievous swallow.
That's
Ben Swallow.
Grievous Swallow.
But look, okay, I'm gonna come out the gate here hot. I don't like brickheads that much. I've never got them. Could be a cop just solely because of the yeah, like you said, because of the characters being Revenge of the Sith. I
Mhm.
think that is honestly worthy of a cop. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
And to be honest, we didn't get an Attack of the Clones brickheads. For anniversary reasons, I'm sure we'll get one
Mm,
the 2027 or something.
yeah,
But this is significantly better than the Phantom Menace
Phantom
brickheads,
Menace
which
one.
had Darth Maul, Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, Padme, and oh no, it didn't
It
have
didn't
Obi-Wan.
have,
It had Jar
yeah.
Jar and it
That's what I was gonna
had
say, which was funny. Yeah.
Captain Typho. So no,
Yep.
this is a
Yep.
much better selection,
This
and
is all bangers. Yeah.
I think the
Straight
Anakin
bangers.
looks really good. The
Anakin
Anakin looks really good.
and Palpatine look top notch.
Yeah.
Like,
Mace Windu's pretty basic.
why did they give Mace Windu such a big forehead and that hair? Like, wait, I just looked at that. Padme too. What is going
Yeah,
on?
Padme's got a huge forehead. What the
Yeah,
heck?
when the other's like normal. I mean, I know Anakin, like even without Anakin's overlapping hair, it's not as big. I don't know like the intent for that.
Yeah. No,
But
but I
no, that's
think
great.
this does look a very good set.
Yeah, they're very
Um,
cute.
there's also another Brickheads releasing. It's not in relation to Revenge of the Sith, and
Really?
mind you, this is the only image I could find of this, so it looks a bit funky.
Oh, here we go.
Luke Skywalker Rebel Pilot Brickhead set 40795.
Yeah.
It's a basic looking one. I think it looks
Hun-
okay. Bit of
138
detail.
pieces?
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Probably won't get.
No. I was going to say pass. It doesn't look bad. And I know people will want to collect this because obviously, people love collecting any type of Lego and especially it being Luke Skywalker in prime peak Rebel
Hmm.
pilot fashion.
Hmm.
There's going to be, yeah, that was iconic. Seeing him with the lightsaber with a Rebel
Yeah.
pilot uniform on was just such a hard get up. It was so cool.
I will
But
say the helmet looks very detailed. It looks pretty good.
yeah, I was going to say the helmet I think is well, once again we got the helmet for the actual helmet like with the
Oh yeah,
Kylo Ren
true.
set
Yeah.
with the Rebel Luke Skywalker's Rebel pilot
Yep.
helmet. So yeah, I mean, it looks great. I don't. This would be a good one to also have as like buy just any Star Wars Lego set. Get this as like a bonus
Yeah.
because it's 138 pieces. It's small, but I think it's worth it for
Mhm.
that. But on its own, I don't know if you're picking between things. I don't think that's up for contention for the
No,
others. Mm.
no. There will be people like Brickheads collectors who will get this,
Oh
and
yeah.
that's good. But
Mm.
yeah, probably not for the general audience.
No, no.
The next set is another Ahsoka set. Believe it or not, we're
Ooh,
still getting Ahsoka sets. It's not that
crazy.
exciting. I'm just gonna
Oh,
let you know.
I was like, oh no.
Set 75416. It's
No,
Chopper.
that's cute. That is really cute.
1,000 pieces. I only just saw that. What the heck?
That's what I was looking at too.
Holy
1,000.
moly!
But also
And
$100 for American, meaning, damn,
yeah,
that's
it's
going
gonna
to
be
be
expensive.
170, 200-ish.
Yeah, the set looks good. Like Chopper
Oh,
looks
yeah.
good, but it's just
I, d-
really.
I don't know. Yeah, I was going to say maybe if I had my own house, I could see myself displaying him and having him. But like, yeah, I don't know what I'll do with him, to be honest. Like,
Hmm.
he'd take up too much space. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and Chopper's great. Fan favorite for sure. But if there was a miniature version of him like this, detailed like this, I'd probably cop it. Mm,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
I agree.
But I
Uh,
would have to pass. Yeah.
that's fair. Okay, now we're moving on to the last set, and this is the one that has got most people excited. You might know about
Mm.
it, and this will be the one that people will buy to get that gift with purchase set. Jango Fett Starship
Oh.
UCS 75409, almost 3,000 pieces.
Hmm.
We
First
have
thing,
got,
first things first. The name.
yeah,
They really
it's
had
Slave
to.
One.
They really had to get rid of. They really had to get rid of that. Is that just me, or is that very bright, or is that just a box art?
So here's my hot take.
Yeah.
I don't think we see a very good and detailed version of Slave One in Attack of the Clones. We see it at night and in the
True.
rain. So it looks a bit
True.
odd to see the green and the yellow and the
That's
navy
what I'm
blue all
thinking.
together. It looks not right.
It's a mismatch of a lot of colors. It looks like it's almost like transforming into Boba Fett's
Hmm.
shit starship like afterwards, but it doesn't. I don't know. Like
Yeah. So
I
we don't
like
know.
it, but
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. We don't know much about this set.
mm,
But supposedly there is a full interior, which is exciting.
Ooh.
And that window piece that you see at the front is a unique piece. It has not been done
Yeah.
before. It's one big piece, so that's exciting.
But also I can see the mini figures in there. It looks
Yeah.
like unhelmeted Django
Hmm.
has a mini fig head and also he's a bobber, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I
that's
think
sick.
Jango Fett will undoubtedly be a figure in this set, and
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
you can see Boba in the background there as
Mm,
well. But yeah, no. So this is an exciting set.
mm.
Another
Yeah.
the next UCS set. There are more leaked ones coming this year, which is exciting. But yeah, this was
Mm.
one that people had spoken about that we're very excited about. So
Mm.
you will be able to cop this on May 4th.
Oh yeah, that's as of juicer for sure, and
Yeah.
that would definitely work. Yeah, as you said, work perfectly with the cadets because of obviously Django's donors and everything. That's just
Yes.
perfect. That is just
Yes.
perfect.
Yeah.
But price point again, I don't know. Do you reckon they're gonna like keep it to the same as the others, or they're gonna go even more now with just all the tariffs and cost of living and everything?
So my theory is the X-Wing and the TIE Interceptor roughly come in just under 2,000 pieces and they're
Mm.
300 Australian dollars each. I'm going to say this would probably be more on the lines of a sail barge and be around 500 Australian dollars.
I consider being a bit more worth it for this
I agree.
compared to like the others, especially a sail barge. I don't think that was really worth it as much. But this is definitely like, I think also principle of being such an iconic ship and a unique one too. Like what the thing like the how it moves and lands and everything is just crazy. And
Mhm.
if it has a pretty good interior and playability, when I mean playability, I mean movable pieces and adjustable kind of things, then I reckon that's definitely worth it because yeah, getting that with the two minifigures of them and also when you purchase get the what's it called, the clone cadet set, I reckon that's got to be 100%. I reckon that's almost got to be guaranteed.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Hmm.
Yeah, well, that is it. That's
That's
it
great.
for all of the Lego May 4th sets that are leaked, but probably will be true because I mean they look official. So
Yeah,
yeah, I think that was
that's
good.
great.
And yeah, let us know down in the
Mm.
comments below what you think, what ones you're copying, because you know we're copying some of them. So yeah. Yeah.
That's great.
All right. Next bit of news also
Mm.
from the world of Star Wars. Jack, do you want to take it
Ooh.
away?
Yes. So let's begin by saying this is not confirmed. This could be rumored, but it has some juice because it comes from Tony Gilroy, which, if you don't know, is obviously the guy who did Andor or does. I say did like past tense, but no, he's doing, I guess,
Still
Andor.
doing it, yeah.
um, and he did come out and say that I don't know if he said I don't know if he said Darth Vader, but
No,
he
he
said
didn't.
horror project, didn't he?
Yes.
So he did say that Lucasfilm is developing a horror Star Wars project. And with that in mind, everyone has now been picturing that with Darth Vader. Because how many people have said we want an R-rated Darth Vader solo film, even though I'm going to say this just for this one time and one time only. Yes, the Skywalker saga is sold basically around Anakin and Darth Vader. Yes, he is almost like the main character, obviously, chosen one. But what we mean by like solo Darth Vader story is just following in the perspective of him as the villain. Because when we get him as a villain within the movies, he's basically the side character coming in to oppose the protagonist, which is all good and well. But having him be the main focus with today's modern day technology and cinematography capabilities that you can do, it could be next level because I'm reading the comments already of people like what's it called, kind of responding to this news, and I'll just read a few of them out now because this is kind of getting you a gist of what people are liking or agreeing with. The main the main liked comment of this post is it exists already. It's called the sequel trilogy. So people are still clowning. People are still clowning on the horror project of the
That
sequels.
ended 6 years ago. People are still ragging on the sequels.
And then we've got. I'll just read a few more here because they're great. The only horrifying, the only thing horrifying about Star Wars is the way Disney is handling the franchise. Oh, and then here we go. Here's the third most liked one, and I'll end it here. So these are the top three of this Instagram post with Tony Gilroy saying it basically. and it will eventually get cancelled due to creative differences.
Probably, probably.
So that's right there, I think, is what is the kind of negative and the way Star Wars fans are right now. Because imagine announcing that, or I don't. Well, it's not really a big announcement. This kind of flew under the radar, and a few like what's it called? What do I call them? News outlets, I guess. Star Wars news outlets are trying to kind of promote on this. But
Hmm.
if you release this news back in maybe like Force Awakens before Last Jedi, even time period, people are going crazy. Like
Yeah.
that is almost the biggest news for like since like the obviously the main episodic announcements
Hmm.
because and now it just shows that people are honestly still upset and are still not happy with the franchise that the main comments are getting flooded by not even being people being excited for the project.
Yeah.
And I'll put that onto you to kind of think about what your thoughts about more specifically what it could be and what it could mean for us, I guess, as the audiences.
Yeah. So I love this announcement. I hope that it's true, and I guess we will find out probably at Star Wars Celebration if there's any um, truth to that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think it's great. I think probably Darth Vader is the most likely
Likely. Yeah.
option for a horror film because unless they do like Ewok Hunt,
That would be crazy.
that would be
That would be
crazy. An
cool.
Ewok Hunt horror film.
I'd actually like
No,
that.
I think it's going to be Darth Vader. It just makes sense. Hayden Christensen, he's back in the
Hmm.
Star Wars pool now, and just seeing him in the Darth Vader getup, and I don't know maybe what it would be about, but certainly I
The
think that
breathing, I
he's
think.
the
Mm,
breathing and just
mm,
the vibe and the aesthetic of Vader, it
mm,
matches what a horror film should be. It
mm.
might not be a film, it might be a series, it might be a
Yep.
short. It could be some of those things. I don't really care as long
Yeah.
as it's good.
I was going to say, point for discussion. I actually wouldn't really like it to be a TV show
Same.
because here's the thing. So obviously, Star Wars TV shows lately have not been hitting that much apart from Andor. Andor is a very niche,
Hmm.
very well crafted for television. It feels like old kind of style television, which is why I think it works. However, if and the horror TV series that I have watched that have worked are because they're based around maybe like a family or a few main characters who eventually descend into kind of like madness, I guess you could say, or things start happening to them. If you're doing it based solely on Darth Vader, for example, how are you meant to draw that out over over a TV series where it's like, oh yeah, end of episode one, Darth Vader appears or something
Yeah.
like in the darkness. Done. Oh, that was cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Next episode, he reappears, and then it's like, what? Why is this a TV show? It's like, how are you
Yeah.
meant to leave it on a cliffhanger esque? How? But then if you do it, if they announce something like this as a TV show and it's called Darth Vader, you already know he's not going to be the main character.
No.
He's going to be the, again, obviously, antagonist, and you're going to have maybe a brother and a sister who stole something important to the Imperials, and they're on the run in the ship, and he's chasing them like a slasher. Like, if that's that, then I'm tuning out instantly.
See,
Like,
I wouldn't hate that idea.
oh
I
damn
think
it.
no, the reason I say it is because keep it simple, but keep it good.
Well,
If
yes.
the
Mm,
premise is two people stealing like a Sith holocron or something,
mm,
maybe like two former Jedi or something,
yeah.
or two Jedi who survived Order 66,
Mm,
and they're stealing a Sith holocron.
mm.
Seeing Vader kind of maybe not chase after them, but have it be like a maze sort of thing.
Where they don't know how they're going to escape, and
Yeah,
you don't know where, when, or where Darth will appear.
correct.
And then if they do escape, then maybe they go to a planet or something. Or let's just say they steal the Sith holocron above on the ship above Mustafar. Then they crash land and land on Mustafar, and then
Yeah.
it's Darth Vader's home territory, like hunting down them
Yeah.
within the lava pools or something. It depends. Well, yeah, lava is still running. I think. Yeah, obviously when he got burned alive, so it could be set early days within Darth Vader's kind of reign, I guess. And if it is a Sith holocron type, like you were saying, this could also kind of potentially tie in to the sequels, yeah, in the sense of maybe
Wayfinders.
wayfinders, and that's why Darth needs it is something important to him and his future endeavors, and or the Emperor's future endeavors, and that's why he's
Yeah.
been tasked to get it.
Yeah. I've also just had another idea that could
Mm.
potentially Disney hire me. I've got some really good ideas. Um, the Inquisitors, let's bring
Yeah,
them
yeah,
back in. Let's get some
yeah.
new Inquisitors in.
Mm-hmm.
They are transporting two or a captured Jedi
Yeah,
to Ner, but
yeah,
then the ship crash or has malfunction and crash
yeah.
lands, and then it lands on Mustafar, and then Vader's like, "All right,
Hmm.
can't have this,"
Yeah.
and then goes and hunts them down.
Yeah, like basically like Ewok hunt, but with Darth Vader and two Jedi.
Yeah, they.
Like, like you could
Oh,
do something like this, like, and I feel like it would be good as like I wouldn't even say a movie. It could even be like what we got with Werewolf by
Werewolf by
Night, like
Night. Yeah.
a special presentation type thing, like a
Yep.
short film, like how long would you need? Like
40 minutes.
45 minutes, 50 minutes of just a very small niche story that is exciting, but also opens the door for other opportunities to be presented like this in terms of
Yeah.
mini stories, which is what I think Tales probably the Tales series should be. They probably should have a more focused, like I would say, if you're doing Tales of, let's just say for what's it called, relevance, Tales of the Underworld. Let's just say you want to do Cad Bane, you do a short special presentation on him for maybe it might go for 35, 40 minutes, do his story. Then you have Tales of the Underworld Part 2 or something. And then you have that be a different, like a Sarge or
Hmm.
so it's like you have these mini series that kind of explores more in depth about the characters rather than trying to back and forth or merge them into one and have them all condensed.
Yeah.
I think that could be a better format. And it would also, in terms of money making, it would also extend the duration life kind of longevity of these potential off branches that aren't movies, that aren't TV shows, but they're kind of character studies that
Yeah.
give what we already know within those TV shows and movies more depth and characterization. I think that would be the best way forward with that.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely. And hopefully, obviously, Star Wars Celebration is not that far away. A week
No,
from today, actually.
yeah,
No, less than a week from today.
less. Mm-hmm.
So we will be covering that, and
Yep,
hopefully, there's
we'll do our
some
best.
truth
Yeah.
to this announcement.
Mm-hmm.
Let's shift over to the Marvel side of things. We are
Yeah.
very, very close to the end of Daredevil
Oh,
Born Again
yes.
Season 1, Episode 8. If you don't mind, I'm going to start.
Yep, go for it.
Last week, I was very pessimistic, perhaps is the right word to use, with
Mm.
my review of what I genuinely thought was an abysmal episode. But this week was incredible, and I have to give a lot of credit to the directors of this episode. They obviously have a lot of freedom in terms of what they get to show on the episodes.
Mm.
And I know it was Aaron Moorhead, but I can't remember who the other guy was or the other person who does it.
Yeah, yeah.
Justin someone maybe?
I can't remember. Yeah,
Anyway,
Justin and yeah, and Moorhead or whatever. Yeah.
they've done a couple of other projects in Marvel as well. They're great. And I think what I appreciated about this episode was the storytelling because
Mm.
it kind of brought everything to this climax point, which happened right at the end of the episode, which was at the ball or the
Hmm.
black and white ball, which was exciting. But just every single shot felt purposeful. Every single like shading felt purposeful. I loved the colorization of the blue for Poindexter when
Hmm.
he was in prison, and just it was beautiful to see that.
Mm.
I think the writing was probably about normal. Um, and even I'm just thinking back to the start of the episode. I totally forgot this even happened with
Mm.
Fisk and Vanessa
Yep.
confronting Adam.
Hmm.
That was like really tense. And
Hmm.
then paralleling that with I always forget her name, Heather and
Matt.
Matt's kind of back and forth. That's what this show's done really well. The
Mm.
parallels and the back and forth. Now, the end of the episode. If you haven't seen the episode, go watch it. I'll
Yeah.
spoil it now.
Hmm.
Poindexter escapes prison after kind of
Hmm.
having a confrontation with Matt, and we can talk about that in a minute.
Yep.
But goes to shoot Kingpin. Matt
Hmm.
jumps in the way of Kingpin and gets
Yeah.
shot.
Mm.
I think it was a surprise because I think everyone was thinking it's either going to be Heather or Vanessa,
Hmm.
but it kind of feels stupid because obviously Matt's not going to die
Hmm.
because he's the main character. He's
Mm.
Daredevil.
Yep.
So it kind of feels silly to leave that on that cliffhanger.
Yeah.
But I want to hear your thoughts.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here for a second. So I've talked to you about briefly, so I know a bit more now after your spiel there. I've talked to maybe like two other people about it, and generally the public loved this episode. They think
Mhm.
it's like goated and everything. I liked it a lot, but see, this is my issue with the show that is with this season that has been going through so far. The best episodes, and I'll give him credit, yes, to Aaron Moorhead and everything with episodes one and now this one, and I guarantee the next one's going to be a banger because we're going to get Punisher back in it too.
Hmm.
They showed another TV spot, and it's just them again. But this season's so chop and edited so poorly, I think, in my opinion, that people are saying that this is like the greatest thing ever. They're glazing it to the brim, and I just think while it's worth its praise, I don't think it is all that it seems to be. So, like, if I was to listen to people's reviews of it without watching it, I would think it's if better than Netflix Daredevil, or at least like top notch, like similar. When I look at this, I'm just like, it feels different. Like the vibes, I don't think are truly there. I feel like, for example, if this particular episode happened in Daredevil in Netflix version, we would have seen a prison escape fight scene with Bullseye. We would have seen a more gruesome, brutal way for him to get out rather than a more, oh yeah, he just took the guard's clothing. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
I know for the storyline of purposes and everything, it's not really about Bullseye and stuff this season in terms of like season three, he was more of the kind of leading antagonist with Fisk. But do you see what I mean? Like, I feel like a lot of moments where I think could be developed or extended a bit more would give it more depth and it would also be more exciting. Because
Mm.
obviously, yes, we got him spitting the tooth out, and yes, that happened in the comics, but it was almost just done. And then he escaped, and then everyone was like, oh. And then I was talking to some people, they're like, oh, I didn't know Bullseye was the one that was up the top of the roof with his gun. I was like,
Really?
until they turned around and like saw his face. I'm like, dude, that's literally like that's what I'm trying to say. I'm like, I feel like people watching this just go like, oh, this that shot was amazing or this shot was amazing. But I agree, the blue when Bullseye's in his Bullseye mode is great, but that's nothing hard to do. That's just color grading it. You know what I mean? Like, I think people are just it's not that hard to do a blue tinted shot because Netflix Daredevil always did the reds and oranges almost in every single shot that they had. And I think the lighting, the camera work in that series was just so much better than this. And I feel like, once again, I don't care about Daniel Blake. I don't care about BB Urich all that much, to be honest. However, contesting, she did get a bit more of an interesting arc now with the commissioner. But this is why I'm going to loop back. The reason why I'm ranting about it now, I'm looping back to it. This needed to be one whole season with the next season as one, like it was initially,
Yeah.
because, oh, wow, this is the finale already coming up. And I think this season is, as a whole, for a season on its own, not great. Literally not great. Individually, some of the episodes are amazing, but as a season, I think this is not even closest to 1 to 3. I think it is the worst out of all 1 to 3 of Daredevil that we've gotten so far. Easily. Like, I would rather watch 1 to 3 before this one. And that says something. Because I think this show in particular has some great moments, some great character development, but it almost reaches like the peak, and then it just like almost like it disappoints me a bit. Like
Yep.
it doesn't keep going. Like it doesn't do that extra mile. And I know you're going to disagree with me here because I've already said this, but I saw a lot of comments about it, and it just validated my opinion. Why does all the coolest things happen at the end of every episode within this series in particular? Like I'm not saying other things don't happen, but they always end on like an absolute banger, and then the start of the next episode is just not. It's just like it like jumps a bit. For example, I don't know what's going to happen for the finale, but when we got Mew's fight first time with Daredevil, I'm like, oh, they're going to show Daredevil helping what's the name again?
I don't know. We never figured
A-
out a name. The
Ayala,
last name,
Ayala's
the Ayala girl.
yeah, Ayala girl, right? I thought they were gonna like kind of continue that a bit, or have Matt maybe get like caught by the police or something, and then that's like some bigger thing. But no, it literally just goes back to regular day to day life and everything. I'm just like, so it's like you end it off on like an absolute banger of a cliffhanger, and then your next week's episode just starts slow and it ends up building up a tension again. Because every episode, which I'll give him credit, has that tension, and it feels like it's like a kettle, like it's boiling, it's hit the peak, but then it hits the peak, and then it ends like instantly almost because the episodes feel so short because the pacing I don't think is all that good, and then the next episode starts again. It starts off slow, and it will hit its peak, and then it's like it's done. I don't want to be a negative Nancy as such, but I don't like how everyone's kind of glazing it wholeheartedly, thinking it's the best thing ever. Because I don't think it is. I think it is great, but I think there's a lot of improvement that season two needs to do. And that's just being honest. Like I think after this season's done and before season two, people are gonna get some time to think about it and look back at this and go, there was some things that could have been done a lot better. And people are just gonna use the excuse that, because they change creative directors and storytellers and stuff halfway through, whatever. Well, in the end, that was their choice to do. They shouldn't have started making the Daredevil show if it wasn't good to begin with, or if they didn't have the right idea, right? And I'm really excited for season two already because I know Aaron Moorhead and
Oh yeah, I got it. It was Daniel. Nope, Justin Benson.
Justin Benson. Yes. So this makes me more excited because apparently they are at the helm of season two. So they have their creative input throughout it rather than a bit of mixed match. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, I need when we get fight scenes, and I hope we see that in this finale coming up. I want less CGI because I feel like another big criticism of this one, he looks like a CGI, not CGI person. He looks like a action figure almost being animated when he's fighting sometimes. Like even when he was punching on the rooftop, I still remember this against Bullseye. He was like punching and it was like almost like he was glitching when he was like doing it because he was like
Yeah.
it was CGI'd until it cut back again. So I'm like, like this, all this kind of stuff puts me out of it a bit. And when people are glazing and saying it's a 10 out of 10, it's the best show like ever, I'm like, are you guys for real? Like, I know everyone's happy that Daredevil's back, but holy, calm down. Holy glazing. Like, just chill out a bit, man. Like, and I think this episode in particular is being glazed to the max. And I think it is a great episode, but I feel like it could have been elevated even more because those last moments of that episode were peak, and then we kind of got a bit just like abrupt ending kind of again. It's like, oh, classic. It's gonna. To be fair, I thought it was gonna even be worse and just cut off before we found out who he shoots or hear the bullet, and then you don't see. I thought it was gonna be like that. But just to finalize my thing real quick here, I realized what you said also about him shooting Matt in the end instead of Kingpin. People online were confused why he was trying to shoot Kingpin to begin with.
Watch the show.
Watch the show. He killed his girlfriend. Basically, the only thing that was keeping him sane. So it's like, of course, he would go for Kingpin first, and also Kingpin just broke his back, and also you quite literally used and abused him, basically like mentally and everything. So it's like, yes, Bullseye. What like everyone's like, oh, I thought he was going to kill, Heather or Vanessa. I'm like, he might kill them eventually. But in this scene here, I was like, he's 100% going for Kingpin because of everything that he's done in the previous like show. And I think a lot of the people who are glazing this too haven't seen 1 to 3 of Daredevil because a lot of people are like, oh, I'm not going to watch Born Again yet because I have to binge it like the old show first. So I'm like, So once again, like, it's like, is it that good or is it people just making it to seem that good? Because I'm a bit on the fence right now.
Mm,
Mm,
mm.
mm,
Okay. I'm gonna keep my response short. And there
What we
are a
got
lot of
there?
things that I could have spoken
Yeah.
about and yeah, made comments on, but I'm not going to. The thing I really liked about
Mm,
what you were saying
mm,
is the boiling kettle analogy.
mm.
And this episode had it better than any of the other
Oh, yes, I
episodes.
agree. Yeah.
And I totally even forgot this happened, but I loved Matt's realization that Vanessa was
Hmm.
behind um,
Bobby.
Foggy's assassination.
Hmm.
I really like it, and I like how it kind of all came together with the
Mm,
dancing and oh yeah, that was cool. That was the
mm,
boiling kettle moment.
mm,
Before obviously Bullseye showed up.
mm,
I agree with you that the show doesn't need to be glazed as much because there are certainly some
Mm.
episodes and moments that are slow, and the editing and pacing particularly has been very off-putting at times.
Yeah.
But that can't discourage me from appreciating and
Oh yeah.
enjoying the
No, I
show
agree.
because
I
I've
agree.
had a good time.
Mm.
My only real criticism, and this is something obviously that they had going into the show, and it was a going to be a hindrance from the start, is the fact that they swapped over showrunners pretty much halfway through
Mm.
developing it. You can easily tell what's Disney and
Oh
what's
yeah.
not. And hopefully now that Justin and Aaron are taking
Mm.
over showrunning for season two, it'll be a bit better.
That's and that's the thing that I'm trying to say. Like I'm almost more excited even before this finale to see season two, to just see what their actual vision is for it, almost
Hmm.
than this season alone. Because it was always meant to be 18 episodes and just have one season as such. It was meant to be just one thing. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
tell the born again story in 18 episodes, right? And now it feels like we're breaking up this season. And it's like when you look at it holistically, season to season, this is probably going to be the weaker one because season two is going to be really when Matt's actually Daredevil and when we get kind of into more of the later parts of Born Again. So
Hmm.
it's like this season was almost just like a filler season between bridging the gap between season three and now coming season two.
Hmm.
So it's like, like I'm already before even the finale. I know I like look, I'm so confident to say that I reckon this finale is going to be good. Like
Yep.
I don't think they can really stuff it up. Like with Punisher coming back, with Kingpin really kind of in a not great mental state, with Matt knowing Vanessa did the work. It's going to be good, right? It's going to be good. So overall, I could probably already tell you that this season alone would be, and I know you would probably disagree. I think it is the most solid that I would ever give a rating for this, 7.5.
Wait till the finale.
But no, but this is even with the like as a season, right? One episode cannot. This final episode might be a 10 out of 10. Does that make my 7.5 for the whole season change? No.
Okay, all
I'll be
right, fair
honest. I'll
enough.
say if next week's episode is a 10, I'll be like, yeah, it's a 10. But so far, last week's episode, that was probably the closest that I would give to the highest. It would have been a 9. But as a season as a whole, I think it's not mid, but I think it's is a solid 7.5 and a good 7.5. Not just like a bad 75%. I think it is
Up
peak
there. Okay.
75%. You know what I mean? Because man, even those silly sound cues of bloody that theme song every 2 seconds, man. Anytime Matt's having some sort of contemplation, it's just it's just like, oh, stop overusing it.
It's
Just bring
good.
back the old one.
It's
Bring
good.
back the old one. Anyway,
Um, the
rant
only thing
over
I'm
again.
gonna say is Justin and Aaron are doing episode 9.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it's going to be good. Like they did 1 and 8 and
8 and
9,
9, yeah.
and they already one was already my favorite one still. 8 is my next favorite probably, and then this one will probably be my favorite because it's got
Yeah.
Frank, and I'm definitely more of a Frank lover than Matt lover. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Hmm.
but even that. So like, if you took out the Punisher scene within was it episode
It was episode
five?
4.
Or
4.
yeah, take out that scene, and it's almost like that everything in between didn't have any connection to like the prior, like apart from one and now, to the
Yeah.
prior like Daredevil almost. It feels like it was just like a different shoehorn story almost
Hmm.
in implicated. But yeah, look, and like they and to finalize it again. I'm kind of disappointed because they said that this new Born Again show was gonna. The reason why they did the creative overhaul was because they wanted Matt to be in the suit and stuff more. We barely still got him in the suit this season. So like, what
Hmm.
was that? Was that just a lie to get people excited?
Yeah.
Because he's barely worn the suit. Like, if
Yeah.
any, he's worn
We've
it for
seen
like
him
a
in the
max for like
seats.
5 minutes, maybe not even.
Yeah. 2 times, I think.
Yep. Well, start of episode one,
3 times then.
and then yeah, when he fought Muse the first time and fought Muse the second time, and then it's like, yep,
Hmm.
that's it. I know
Hmm.
we're obviously probably going to obviously see him in
We
the
will.
finale in the suit, but like you said that you redid this thing because you said it was too much of a lawyer-based show. It's too much Matt without the suit, and that's almost what we basically had in this season. So I'm like, is people just forgetting this and just being like, yeah, holy glaze, this is the best thing ever. Like, No, like there's a lot of wrong, there's a lot of not so good stuff with it. But as you said, to end off on a more positive note, I think I can still appreciate the show. It's still giving me enjoyment every week watching it. It's still peak seeing them back, but almost I'm more excited for season two than I am overall for like this season and the return of Daredevil. I want to see season two. If season two is not good with this more focused kind of creative hole, I'm
Mhm.
tuning out on Daredevil. I'm saying he's been washed.
Wow.
He's been bad character,
Okay.
development now. But I don't think so. I think they're gonna definitely have. I
They'll
think
do a good
Justin,
job.
and Aaron will
Yeah.
will definitely do a good job.
Yeah.
100%.
Alrighty. I think that brings us to the end of another certainly lively discussion
Lively.
of Daredevil and to the end of the podcast. Thank you for listening. Next week we will have these same things on the card. Obviously, Daredevil
hmm
finale we'll chat about, but the main thing, of course, will be Star Wars Celebration.
Yep.
Expect some huge announcements. We
hmm
normally record on a Sunday, so
hmm
that'll be the last day of Star Wars
hmm
Celebration. So we might have some announcements to break
Yeah,
I say on the podcast, which will be exciting.
we will definitely, because obviously it's also running over the Easter weekend, so we're gonna be obviously like we'll be putting out stuff in a more unusual fashion too.
Infrequently.
Yeah, so like for example, it might be some more handheld type content, but you know what? That is pure content. So that is candidness, I guess you could say. Mm,
What a word.
yeah. Mm,
Wow.
mm.
All
No
right.
way.
Let's end off candidly. Am I using that right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
go. All right. Thanks for checking out the podcast. We'll see you next week.
See you guys.